All right, welcome back. We can continue right here in studio, Pittsburgh CW. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani and Paul Zeise with you tonight. Call us at 412-575-2600. That's the number of the Bordas and Bordas hotline. We're going to go right to it. We have Phil in Fox Chapel who joins us first. Hey, Phil, what's up?
Hey, Bob, but I understand it's your 36th year with KDKA. It's your anniversary.
37, actually. 37. But thank you. Appreciate it.
You're the best Pittsburgh got, and also I like Paul Zeise. He looks like he's in basketball shape right now.
You know what? You don't want to take him on one-on-one. He'll whip you.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I do want to say that I'm not disappointed, and I can only imagine before this game what Joe Madden was going through in his hotel room. We were punishing this team, and seriously, I know he's a competitive dude, man. We punished him the other night, and it's hard to beat a team 4 games in a row. So I'm looking forward to the Milwaukee series, and I'm really impressed with the young Pirates. I really am.
Well, listen, they're still under 500, and they have issues. But like I said, I separate my feelings for how ownership is running this team versus what this team is actually doing. And I think that's a fair assessment, Paul, because they can't control any of that. All they do is go out and play. And I think Hurdle's done a pretty good job keeping them together despite everything that's gone on with them.
Well, they got, Kevin Newman, they've got Josh Bell, they've got Brian Reynolds, they've got Corey Dickerson. They've got some guys that are really fun to watch. I mean, they play hard. But more importantly, I don't think it's even that. I just think they're good, talented players that do a lot of good things. So, you know what? It's a fun group. It really is. Whether they win a lot or lose a lot down the stretch, I can't imagine that if you're in this market, you would want to ignore them.
So the Brewers coming to town next. They'll be here tomorrow night for the first of 3. They just lost 2 or 3 of the Reds. Are you surprised with the Reds pitching? I think I thought their hitting would carry them, much like I thought the Pirates pitching would carry them and the offense would be challenged. And then you play the season and you say it's reversed. But Luis Castillo is a really good pitcher. They've gotten production out of a lot of guys. A shutout today, 1-0. Milwaukee right now is just 3.5 ahead of the Reds. The Reds could end up winning this division. That sounds crazy, but it could.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. It's funny. The Brewers, to me, and here's the thing. I can see the problems the Cubs have. I can see the problems the Cardinals have. I don't understand why the Brewers aren't better than they are. I mean, there's no reason in the world. I think they lost. What did they lose the other day? I think they got shut out 2 games in a row, didn't they?
And they wasted a good effort by Woodruff today. Yeah. Their problem, if you want to analyze it, is it's erratic production from certain players, and their pitching has been extremely erratic.
I'll tell you the other thing. They probably are a little reliant on home runs.
They are.
And if when they don't hit home runs, it's hard for them to string together hits and score.
Bob in Clearfield is up next on the Sports Car. Hey, Bob.
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you. Today's pitching debacle, I think one could safely conclude that the Pirates do not have enough. He said quality pitching, starting pitching. He said to keep up with the other teams, be competitive in going the next 3 months. And the trade deadline, top-tier starting pitching is going to be extremely scarce and extremely expensive, which leads one to believe, come to 2 questions. Do the Pirates, he said, trade more very scarce minor league talent for Tier 2, Tier 3 starters, such in the vein of Chris Ian Snell Archer, or did instead, he said, did they try to preserve their offensive core, which is becoming rather impressive, and hopefully get somebody and sign 1 or 2 good free agents in the offseason? I think you take the latter course rather than take it out this giving away of top-tier talent for somebody of dubious ability.
Paul, what would you do there? Thanks, Bob.
I guess it depends on where they're at 15 or 18 days from now.
Well, it looks like this is going to be jambled up the whole time.
Right.
So if it's just like it is right now or, similar.
I mean, I would have to see what the standings are. If they're like in 5th place, and even if they're only 4 or 5 games out, it seems to me like it's tough. I will say this. I think they need a pitcher and they need a reliever. And if they decide that they're going to still continue to try and go for it, who are you going to trade? There's one guy that I can think of, Bob, that you could trade that you probably wouldn't change it. Polanco.
Yeah, but you're not going to get all that much for him right now.
But I'm just saying, if you really want to stay in it, you're not going to get rid of Dickerson. No. You're not going to.
I think they should consider signing Dickerson.
You're not going to get rid of Cabrera, and I agree with you. Yes.
Polanco would be the guy who's have to prove to me to work his way back in.
But he's the only one that you could really trade and say, okay, we're not really losing anything.
Let's go out to David in Johnstown. David, welcome to Sports Call. How are you?
Oh, hey, what I'm calling about is when the guy got hit in the head.
David Bodie, yep. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. What I'm calling about is I wanted to hear what you have to say. When the pitcher hit the guy in the head, the commentator on ESPN said that the scouting report for the Cubs is to pitch them high and inside. And I'm wondering if the scouting report for the Pirates is low and outside, because it seems a lot of the Pirates fall for that low and outside pitch.
Well, I'll tell you this, the Pirates right now are the toughest team in the National League to strike out. Did you know that? They are. So they've gotten better in that. As far as pitching inside, I think the Pirates have preached that all along. I think that's what Hurdle believes in. I think Searage believes it. Cubs think they've crossed the line. But I think Chris Archer needs to do more of it. If you're asking me, he's not been successful because he puts everything right over the plate. He has good stuff. He'll get his strikeouts, but he's been hit hard too much. He needs to show me more of an inside presence.
Yeah, he needs to show you a lot more of a lot of things, you know. And like I said, the difference, you look at the difference between him and Quintana. I mean, to me, you know what? Today was a game that Archer would have been out in the fifth inning. And Quintana found a way to just kind of fight through and get 2 more innings. That's what Archer needs to figure out how to do. He needs to grind through some stuff. He needs to use less pitches from time to time. And part of it, like you said, he has no confidence in anything he throws, it seems like right now. And so he's not going to throw it inside because he's afraid to hit guys, which means he throws it across the plate, and it seems like it gets hit.
Jeff Stager on Twitter says, guys, why didn't you think Clint Hurdle defended his pitcher when Madden was going after him? He just stood there and took it. Well, first of all, I think if you start going out there, you're going to end up potentially with looking at suspension time. Who knows? You know, I think I agree with Paul. I think Madden was all about a show. You know, he was just trying to make some sort of statement to his team that, hey, this is serious. Let's get moving. And he was going to go out and get ejected to do it.
I mean, and it's pretty clear that, you know, that there's a rift between him and Joe Madden. I mean, him and Theo Epstein. I think he knows the writing's on the wall. He's just trying to get a spark, and maybe if his team starts playing better and winning games, then the heat's off of him a little bit.
So the Pirates have a big week again coming up with teams right in their division. We'll talk about that and more. Your call's on the way right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Talk.